He paid $40,000 for a penetration test, which is just paying a group to try to hack your company and give you a report on what's vulnerable. Mm-hmm. He just did that prior to doing the training for my rehab. It was just my face. So when my company is pentester.com.
Yeah.
Right? And when we're trying to sell our manual pen test, he brings up that story because even if you spend $40,000 for the best of the best, if they're doing that, in his case, it was the checkbox approach. It's sometimes not enough, like what we do outside of, like, I'm not trying to promote my company. I just want to explain, this is relevant to everything else we're going to talk about. What we do is we try to emulate what the adversaries would do. We try to emulate what an attacker would do, not just check off this box, that one, and that one, and that one, and skip all of the rest. We try to do that. So Rick uses that story, Rick Glasser, who was one of the owners of ZenCharts, when trying to make sales for a pen tester.
I just looked at the article, USA Today, National Public Data confirms massive data breach included Social Security numbers. Tool tells you if your data is involved or not. So
yes,
to the average person, what does pen tester do?
He somehow, some way, got 2.9, approximately 3 billion records that include your first name, last name, address, phone numbers, and Social Security number for pretty much every single American alive and deceased. Because our population is not even close to the 3 billion. Mm-hmm. That's a third of the planet, I believe. Mm-hmm. So when I was looking up, my mom, I was seeing addresses when she was a teenager.
How do you do it though? Now that it's public and the guy has it, how do you remove your data?
So you cannot remove data from the dark web, but you can remove data from data brokers, which is huge. The best way to remove data, in our eyes, is for you to change your passwords, because you can't remove it from the dark web. You can't remove it from people's computers after they download these databases. And I don't know of a better way to explain that, because a lot of people don't understand that, like, we don't have control over deleting data off of people's computers that downloaded it themselves. We do have control over some of the data brokers because they're required to remove your data. So what we do is we take your first name, your last name, your date of birth, and as many identifiers as you're willing to give us, and then we send a query on your behalf to all of these major data brokers and if you don't know what a data broker is, it's just somebody like, for example, White Pages, that would store your personal information, including your family's information, phone numbers, everything. For just to Google a name and a state, you'll find yourself. We remove that data for you. All you have to do is just sit back and wait, refresh the page every couple of days, see how many removals are in progress, how many have been removed. And then as you're doing that, you can scroll down the page. You'll see all the social profiles associated with your email and phone number and name. And then underneath of that, you have all of your passwords and everything else that's out there. So you get a really good idea of what your digital footprint is.